You're still here on the JoyNews channel, and we're going to be taking you live to the seat of the presidency of the Republic of Ghana for a special visit by the Black Stars, the technical handlers, and of course the executive team of the Ghana Football Association following qualification for the next FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Well, yesterday, just as a brief background before we go live to the floor of the Jubilee House, yesterday, after the qualification, there was a video circulating on social media where President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was speaking to the coach, the interim coach of the Black Stars, and congratulating him. And of course, he discussed this particular visit. So we're going to be taking you live to the grounds for everything that will be done in terms of the proceedings, and this will form the very first part of Pulse right there. And of course, seated at the front will be the Ghana FA President Kurt O'Crick, and seated next to him is Kurt O'Crick, I beg your pardon, Otto-Addo, who's the interim head coach. Of course, Chris Houghton is also next to Coach Otto-Addo, and Chris Houghton played the special role of technical advisor. Now, Thomas Partey, who did one of the most important things in qualifying to this game, which was to score a goal, which made Ghana qualify on an away goals rule, as seated next to him. So, Felix Afena-Jan, the teenager who was a very big subject of conversations, especially after his, his participation in the UEFA Champions League and his exploits for AS Roma under legendary coach Jose Mourinho, is also seated at the edge, and he has a flag covering him. So that's a view of the playing body of the Black Stars. Ahead of that, there were many people, from media persons through to top government officials, who were taking pictures. But as we speak, the whole meeting is getting ready to receive the President of the Republic. So in a nutshell, this is what has happened. Ghana staging her fourth qualification for the FIFA World Cup. The first three appearances in the years 2006, in 2010, and in 2014 in Brazil. Well, this was the very big moment that defined Ghana's securing of a ticket to play in Qatar to join four other teams. Of course, immediately after this goal, immediately after this goal as well, there was the the equalizer that was secured by the captain of the side, William Truce Ekong. So this is the man of the moment, Thomas Partey. Remember that ahead of this, he was judged the player of the month at his club Arsenal. And Thomas Partey is of Dangme extraction, comes from Somanya in the eastern region. Played a lot of his football in the lower divisions of Ghana football, and managed to play for Tema Youth, following which he was transferred out of the country. Of course, the Vice President of the Republic, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has arrived, and he is exchanging pleasantries, and he takes a picture with Thomas Partey and gives him a congratulatory pat, and also there, exchanging a word with a technical advisor, Chris Houghton. Of course, Otto-Addo. And that will be a bit of a handshake with a lot of verve for very obvious reasons, having led the technical team to do the job. And he's congratulating Kurt O'Crick, the FA president, as well. Sami Osei-Kuffour, a member of the management team, Sami Osei-Kuffour played in Ghana's first appearance at the FIFA World Cup in Germany, where he played most of his professional career. Well, a big hug for the Vice President of the Ghana FA, Dr. Mark Addo, and next to him is Mr. Kwame Ofosu-Bamfo, also known as Sickens, who's played various roles within management of the Black Stars team. Remember that Sickens, Kwame Ofosu-Bamfo, was also a member of the executive team that oversaw Ghana's participation in her last appearance at the FIFA World Cup, which was in 2014 in Brazil. Of course, in 2014, the performance was not so great. Ghana ended up with a point, and that was a big disappointment, considering the fact that Ghana was almost on the verge of qualifying for the semi-final of the 2010 World Cup, which was staged in South Africa, the very first tournament to be staged in South Africa. Of course, this had to do with issues of controversy around the non-payment of bonuses to players, and this had to be a whole episode based on which later a committee or a commission of inquiry was set up, and this was led by Justice Jamefe. So the Black Stars have come a long way. Of course, this qualification is coming on the back of not so pleasant times, especially considering that the Black Stars had to be eliminated from the competition, that is the Africa Cup of Nations. So President Akufo-Addo, in his dark suit, a double-breasted suit, walking into the hall now. And as usual, he's being accorded all the respects, and he's asked all to take a seat. So the national anthem of the Republic of Ghana, and then the rest of the ceremony continues. You're still live here on the Joy News channel.
The President of the Republic, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. The Vice President of the Republic, Madam Chief of Staff, senior officials of the Presidency, Minister for Youth and Sports, and other officials here present, the President of the GFA, Director General, National Sports Authority, members of the Management Committee, members of the Technical Committee, the playing body, the members of the press. Good afternoon to you all, and welcome to Jubilee House. Mr. President, the entire nation was thrown into a celebratory mood yesterday following the well-deserved victory of the Black Stars over their Nigerian counterparts, the Green Eagles, in the just ended World Cup qualifying series. And this sweet victory, somehow by divine design, coincided with your birthday. A round of applause to Mr. President. State of euphoria, we have the courtesy of a visit to Jubilee House, the seat of the presidency, by our heroes, the Black Stars. And as is customary in military terms, when soldiers return from war, I think the first person they report to is their army commander. So in this instance, our victorious team, the Black Stars, are here to report to the CIC, the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. So, without much ado, it's my pleasure to invite the Minister for Youth and Sports to give his introductory remarks. Minister.
Thank you so much. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, my mother, Madam Chief of Staff, Secretary to the President of the Ghana Football Association, the Board Chairman of the National Sports Authority and the Director General of the National Sports Authority, the GFA ESCO members, the head coach and the technical team, the gallant Blasters, the Supporters Union, Your Excellency, I'm happy and proud to be back here, the seat of government, to present to you our gallant Blasters who made the entire nation proud last night in Abuja. Your Excellency, you charged me to ensure the qualification of the Blaster for the World Cup in Qatar. And by the grace of the Almighty Allah, our gallant men are here, made the entire nation proud yesterday by qualifying Ghana for her 4th FIFA World Cup at the expense of our brothers, Nigeria. Your Excellency, whilst commending and congratulating the Blaster, let me acknowledge that the final hurdle in Qatar 2022 qualification journey brought the entire nation together. We saw a massive support for the team in their first leg against the Super Eagles in Kumasi, as well as across the entire country. Your Excellency, what we witnessed yesterday from the Blaster was a display of brotherhood to fight for a common purpose. In the face of adversity, the Blasters stood together, trusted in one another, lifted one another, and ultimately lifted the entire country. Your Excellency, I would like to thank you for your personal commitment towards this process and eventually our qualification. You ensure that every financial and logistical need for the Blaster were met. You open your doors to me without hesitation on all discussion concerning the Blasters. Your Excellency, I cannot forget you personally hosted a fundraising breakfast meeting with corporate Ghana and appealed to them to support and complement government effort in supporting the Blaster. Mr. President, if we are here today, it is largely due to your personal support and the commitment of your government towards a national cause. Thank you so much for your support, Your Excellency, and thank you, Ghana.
Thank you very much, Minister. May I now invite the FA President, Mr. Marco Kreku, to present his word of gratitude to Mr. President, after which the coach will be invited to introduce the playing body and say some few words.
Your Excellency, the birthday boy, the show boy, our only president, Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic, our mom, the Chief of Staff, senior members of government, my hard-working sector minister, Honorable Mustafa Yusuf, and your deputy, colleague ESCO members here and present, chairman of the Black Stars Management Committee and your team, my technical team, and my players. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Mr. President, it is an honor to come to you once again, not only to thank you for the immense support you've offered our association football and our national teams, but to continue a very good history of Ghanaian football that was started in 2006 when Ghana first qualified for the Mondial in Germany. Mr. President, in 2006, the spirit of our nation was lifted through that qualification, and that was repeated in 2010 and in 2014. In 2018, our country was missing. And when we took office, our singular determination was to ensure that we bring our Black Stars to the platform that we belong. The platform where the very best of association football gather to show their quality. A platform that we've always believed we belong. Mr. President, I am especially happy that today we've come here as gallant warriors who put in everything to ensure that our nation belonged to the best platform in association football. Can we clap for ourselves, please? Mr. President, the young men you find here belong to that special group I call gallant warriors. Gallant warriors. What do I mean by this? Mr. President, we played 0-0 at the Bavaria Sports Stadium, but we still kept the belief that together as a family, we can make our nation great and strong. We kept the family unit, we kept the comradeship, we traveled into the Lions' Den. For those of you who were at the Mashoud Abiola Stadium yesterday, you will fully understand what I mean by to play in the Lions' Den. In the morning before the game, Mr. President, I did say that our country, our proud colors will be defended vehemently by 16 plus gallant men, not 11 on the pitch. Mr. President, throughout my footballing career, I've never seen a hostile atmosphere like we went through in Abuja. I've never seen, sorry, but I'll say it here, I've never seen much officials as hostile as we found ourselves playing against yesterday. But the indomitable fighting spirit of the Ghanaian. Led by an amazing technical team, kept our hopes alive. We fought, and we ensured that we belong to that special group of a footballing nation, a special group who will truly represent our colors at the Mondial in November, December. Mr. President, before you are our gallant warriors. These boys have made our country great and strong again. We've always believed that we belong to the very best in association football. Mr. President, and I remember my last visit to you, I said to you that when we fix the fundamentals of association football, our football will come back to where it belongs. We are on the right path. I remember when we went to the AFCON, and the outing was not what we want to remember. There were a lot of doubting Thomases. But just like your good self, we kept the belief. We engaged ourselves, and we took the right decisions. And every good leader must take the tough decisions, the tough but right decisions. And this is what we did. The result is that we saw a Black Stars team that we have never seen playing with so much passion because of our collective desire to make our dear nation great and strong. Guys, I salute. My coaches, I salute. Mr. President, the feeling across the entire nation speaks for itself about the special vehicle called association football and what it can do to our dear country. Clearly, association football has a multiplier effect. And this multiplier effect is what we see. All of a sudden, our country has found the energy to stay together and to truly show what we have. Mr. President, thank you so much for the belief. Thank you for the investments that you have made in our work, and thank you for your promise to stay with us throughout the journey. In saying this, let me also specifically thank my sector minister, because he's been there with us through thick and thin. Alhaji Mustafa, I salute. Mr. President, this is just the beginning of perhaps an interesting and a promising future for our dear country in association football. With your promised support, with this amazing technical team, Otoado, Chris Hilton, George, Didi, the rest, again, I salute. I salute. To the Vice President of the FA, who currently chairs the management committee of the Black Stars, Mr. Mark Ado, Sami Kufuor, Mr. Kwame Banfo Sekins, Alhaji Grunsa, who is missing? Akwesi Ajiman, Kendall Damwa, I salute. To the National Sports Authority, who has always been there for us, led by the chairman of the board, I salute. One more special person who has been so helpful to us, Dr. Da Costa of the National COVID Task Force. Thank you so much. Our victory is a victory for the voiceless. People who rely on association football to have a healing in life. Our victory is dedicated to the masses, the people of our country who truly love quality and who truly want quality. Mr. President, in departing, once again, on behalf of the football fraternity, we thank you so much for the support. We thank you for the belief. We thank you for the investment you're making, and we believe that this victory will be the needed impetus for you to even invest more in domestic football. And I know that this is nothing for the showboy. To my colleagues in the media, yes, you've been there for us. You've supported us all the way. I'm grateful for all the support, but this is just the beginning. Qatar is the next stop. And we will go to Qatar and make an impression like we've never done. I'm saying here again that we will go to Qatar and will make our nation great and strong. I thank you all for support. I thank everybody. I thank our dear country. And I'm glad that all of you stuck together to make our dear nation great and strong. I salute. Thank you. Mr. President, with your permission, I will humbly invite Mr. Otoado to join me here. Otto, could you come up? I remember my first. I remember my first engagement with this gentleman. After 2 minutes, I was sure about exactly what I wanted. And for those of you who have followed the team, over 3 days, What we have seen of the Black Stars is something that we have never seen before. Otto, Didi, Chris, George Boateng have delivered something amazing to our dear country. Otto will say a few words. He's always shy, but today he will speak. Mr. President, our head coach, Otto Addo. I'll stand here for you.
Okay, that's good. Okay, thank you. Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank you, Mr. Excellency, for the invitation. It's a great honor for us to be here. For me, it's even, very special. More special than the game yesterday because we were not really prepared, or I'm not really prepared. Thank you very much, Mr. Kreku, for your kind words. A little bit too much, I think, but it's okay. I take it. I won't make it long. I think enough is said. Surely everybody's happy. We qualified for the World Cup. This was our aim. And we're looking forward for it. I won't take long. I would like to, the staff, not the coaches, the staff, please to stand up. So this is the staff, the medical department. The medical department, video analyzer, and Ricky, okay, our performance manager. So they worked a lot. They helped us as a team a lot. Worked the kitmen. They worked day and night. Thank you for your effort. You have highly percentage on our success. Thank you very much, Henry. Then let me please go to the coaching staff. Please stand up. So from my so in the first row is Chris Houghton, very experienced, a lot of help, a lot of good ideas which we introduced, and it was a massive help to have him around to clear a lot of small problems. Thank you, Chris. You did more than we could expect. Very good, exceptional. Didi, Dramani, assistant coach, and George, assistant coach as well. I think it was the best team what I could wish. I didn't know them before, but I'm very happy that the president had this set up. He introduced us, and we get to know each other. It was excellent working with them together. It fitted. Thank you for your good job and good work. Thank you very much. And then the players, please stand up. I would like, because I don't see everybody and some are sadly missing, I would like everybody just to come up front. You start with the first row, just introduce yourself. Oh, you have a microphone there, okay. And then you pass it on. I think the best thing come at last, and what you did was exceptional. Like the president said, it was not easy to stand firm under these circumstances. Really tough. It was incredible to see how you fought, and you really deserve it. I'm happy for you guys.
Thank you.
So we start with our captain, Thomas Partey.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thomas Partey, Arsenal and Ghana Blasters.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. Andy Yadom, Reading FC.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ohinia Finajan Felix, AS Roma. Thank you, Mr. President. Dennis Kosa, Accra, Suffolk.
Thank you, Mr. President. Muntaro Kamaini, FC Ashdod.
Thank you, Mr. President. Isaac Abdul Fattah, Sporting Lisbon.
Thank you, Mr. President. Daniel Kofitre, FC São Paulo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yaya Boa, Columbus Crew.
Thank you, Mr. President. Christopher Entfier J. VfL Bochum.
Thank you, Mr. President. Kwesi Ochiri-Wright, Holstein Kiel.
Thank you, Mr. President. Elisha Osu, Ghent.
Thank you, Mr. President. Joseph Pinto, KRC Gang.
Thank you, Mr. President. Alexander Djikou, Strasbourg.
Thank you, Mr. President. Abdelmoumin, Victoria.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mohamed Kudus, FC Ajax.
Thank you, Mr. President. Abdul Manaf Nouruddin, CAS Eupen.
Thank you, Mr. President. Joseph Eidu, Celta Vigo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Lawrence Atizigi, FC Sengala.
Thank you, Mr. President. Edmond Ado, FC Sheriff.
Thank you, Mr. President. Gideon Mensah, FC Bordeaux.
Thank you, Mr. President. Joseph Olacott, Swindon Town.
Thank you, Mr. President. Jordan Ayew, Crystal Palace.
Thank you, Mr. President. Idris Baba Mohammed from Africa.
Thank you, Mr. President. Osman Bukari, FC Nantes.
Okay, took a while, but I think it's worth it. I just want to mention as well our goalkeeper coach, Richard Kingston. He's not here. Thank you very much for your work. Then some players missing, Daniel Amate and Dennis Odoy, also missing. They did a great job yesterday as well, and we want to thank them for that. Furthermore, I would like to say, I said it to some of the press members already, these were only 2 games, but there was a long path before ahead, and CQR Grono is part of this success, and as well as Milovan Rajovac. And of course, our captain, Andre Ayew, and several players missing today. It's very, very important for us, I think, that we acknowledge that, and we have them in our thought. Thank you very much again for the invitation, and wish you all a nice afternoon.
Thank you very much, Otto Addo. Mr. President, in departing, let me also mention the amazing role played by our legends in ensuring that our players were very motivated. The legends led by Sami Kufo, who's a member of the management committee. On that note, we thank you. We thank you, Yadawasi. Thank you.
He deserves another round of applause. Thank you very much. Excuse me. I know members of the supporting union or the supporters union are yearning to sing one Jama before Mr. President takes the floor. So you are invited. Thank you. Let's join them. Let's join them. Clap. Yadamase Aiko, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my pleasure to invite the President of the Republic to deliver his message.
GFA chairman and the coach, the technical team, the management team, Mr. Thomas Partey, captain, and the members of the Black Stars. You're all very, very, very welcome to Jubilee House, which is the seat of the presidency of our country. I think everything that needs to be said has been said. But I just want to add my personal word of gratitude to you for putting the icing on the cake on my birthday yesterday. The way these things happen. Today I had to give a statement to the Parliament on the state of the nation. And it meant that yesterday, when you were playing, I was in a meeting with those who helped me put these things together. So sad as it is to say, I didn't actually watch the match. But what I heard were the reactions of people in my office as you were playing and they were watching. And when you score the first goal, there's an Arsenal contingent in my... yes, I agree with you. Chris Hutton and I, we belong to the other side in North London. They came rushing in that you've won the game for us. But really, the nation was so elated by your performance, both in Kumasi and also in Abuja. In Kumasi, we saw that the Black Stars that we knew, the committed, skillful set of footballers that we grew up with here had come back. Now, we didn't see it, unfortunately, in the AFCON, but we saw it in Kumasi. And really, after Kumasi, I was very, very calm here that I knew that in Abuja, it was going to work out well. In fact, I happened to be in Abuja the day before on official business. And I discovered when I was there a lot of nervousness on their part. I'm talking before the Friday. The Thursday before the Friday, I was in Abuja. And I came away with the thought that they feared that if they didn't get a result in Kumasi, they may not get a result in Abuja. And that's exactly what happened. They didn't get it. So we have to thank you. You lifted the spirit of the nation. And now the nation has every reason to look forward to your performance in Qatar. Everybody's going to be behind you. And we're going to give you all the maximum support that we can. The ministry, the officials of the Ghana Football Association, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and all the organizations in the state that work with sports and football. We'll give you all the support that they can. The arrangements that they have made with you before are all going to be properly honored and made sure that everybody feels properly recompensed for what has happened. I myself am organizing a special package for you before. as a token of my appreciation and recognition. But I think that above all, what we want to see, what we have seen in these two matches is the oneness, the cooperation, the solidarity, right from the management through the technical team, through the team, of people working together for a common goal. And that is what we want to see continue. I'm hoping that the technical team that has been put together for these two matches will at least take us through the World Cup itself. I told the coach, the head coach, that he ought to be careful when he came to Ghana. He might likely be kidnapped here and will make it difficult for him to go back to Germany and to Dortmund. That we want him here. But I would, Mr. Okriku, whatever you can do to make sure that the team stays together, at least until Qatar. Then afterwards we can take the long-term decisions. The reason is that a situation whereby Arsenal, Tottenham, and everybody is together in one arrangement. That's a formidable arrangement. Tottenham is very well represented here, both here and here. And oh yes, the Vice President. The Vice President is also a strong supporter of the cockerel of Spurs. So let's keep together. And the hunger, the desire, the determination that we saw in Kumasi, that we saw again yesterday, keep together. And out of it, I know something even greater is in the future for us. The person that we grew up worshiping as the greatest footballer of all, the great Brazilian Pelé, said that in his lifetime, he was sure that an African team would win the World Cup. Said that a long time ago, that it was that he believed strongly that in his lifetime, like me, he's also a little bit long in the tooth, but it's not over. And God knows, if the spirit that we've seen in these two matches, and the level of skill too that has been demonstrated, kept together. The sky is the limit. Whatever it is that can be done on our side, as government, as officials, to support you, to give you the most agreeable and convenient background, tools, resources to work with, we will do it. The rest is up to you. But what I've seen, I know that a lot of good things are ahead of Ghanaian football. I want to welcome you all once again very warmly to the seat of the presidency and to congratulate you on behalf of the 31 million people in Ghana for the great feat. The chairman talked about going into the lion's den. I believe that was it. And the events that took place after the match tells you that indeed you have been in and out of the lion's den. But the spirit, at the end of the day, you know better than I how important that is in sport. You've done very, very well. The nation is very proud of you. And we want to have more reasons to be proud in Qatar in December. I want to wish you the very best of luck. And as I say, whatever on my part and the part of my government we can do to assist, we're going to do it. You're lucky. You have all kinds of very responsible and Ghanaian, senior Ghanaians who have all been roped into the boat. Sami Kufuor, one of the greatest players that our country has produced. Mark Addo, Kwame Sikkens, Grunsa, Alhaji Grunsa. All of them are there to assist, as myself. I am a football fanatic. Anybody who knows me will tell you that. I'm consumed by the game. Every opportunity I have to watch it. Some of the places you've played, I've actually been in the stadia there to watch matches. White Hart Lane in the old days, the Highbury, the Emirates, even Dortmund. Been to watch. I'm a big, big fan. So I'm so happy that in my period as president, this achievement has been done. So I want to thank you for that. To say you're very, very welcome here. Thank you very much. May God bless you all. Thank you. I forgot. Apart from my special package, I have presidential diaries with the crest and everything. I want to give one to Mr. Coach. And the Arsenal man, Mr. Captain. A two. There you go. Everybody else will get one too. They'll organize it for you. Once again, thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Supporters Union. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And our sincere thanks to the President of the Republic, our father, for his very kind words, very reassuring words, very heartwarming words. And I took particular note of the charge he has given to the FA president that he should do everything he can to keep the team together. That is Mr. President's charge to you, and I know it's a charge you keep and will never fail. Thank you very much. We are almost at the end of this short interaction, and it's my pleasure to announce that Mr. President and government officials will have photo opportunity with the players and the team. So at this juncture, may I invite, first of all, the players to step forward. And then I'll mention the rest of the groups. Space out of it. Now the coach join them, please. The coach.
Staying with us on the polls here on the JoyNews channel, and what you see on your screens now, live pictures coming to you live from Jubilee House, where the president has been engaging the Black Star squad. We'll be getting into the details of that. It appears that the president has got a busy day today. Just after addressing the nation, the president is making time to engage and interact with the technical team as well as the squad that won and qualified to Qatar, the World Cup for us. There's a need for us to break that down for you and do some analysis on that. Fortunate to have Nathaniel Atto, who's still with us and would give you all that you need to know as far as the game itself and the side issues are concerned. Nat, it's good to see you.
Good to be here.
Right. So even before we talk about the match itself, the president seems very elated about the performance of the squad. How much of a fanatic is he in terms of being, when we talk about sports, football? Tell us a little bit about the president.
Well, there's a picture of the president where, you know, he's wearing like very old gloves.
Right.
I'm talking about leather boxing gloves.
Right.
Now, as a little boy, he used to be, he used to be a boxer. And that was not the only, passion that he had. He was a footballer. Now, the president played alongside the likes of Cecil Jones, Atukwe-Few, and other legends, during the time when President Nkrumah had formed the Real Republicans, which was the model national team. So the Real Republicans concept at the time was picking the best players in each position in the Ghana Premier League at the time to form the nucleus of the national team. And so Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo at the time as a young man was a part of that team. But then, as fate would have it, he got himself into other endeavors.
And probably it's a good time for him to be president as well.
Very well.
To be watching this.
Very well.
But let's talk about the game itself. What's your impression of what transpired yesterday in Abuja?
Well, the president made a very important, very important observation, which is something that many Ghanaian football fans did not take their minds to.
Right.
Now, I'd like to refer to the words of Dr. Rafiu Ladipo. He is a former president of the Nigerian Football Supporters Club. And when it comes to supporting national teams, Nigeria is miles ahead because of the kinds of numbers and the kind of color and the energy that they follow their respective teams with. Years ago, he confessed to myself and a few other journalists that anytime they heard the war song or that folk song Ghana 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 Oseye, which we heard a few minutes ago at the presidency, they shook. And so it just brought the realization at the time, this was over a decade ago, mind you. I mean, about 15 years ago, he came here to Accra. And it just went to tell you that Nigeria, in as much as they have a fighting spirit, in as much as they have a vibrant national team, in as much as they have quality, have a certain level of vulnerability, just like everybody else. The biggest teams in the world all have their problems, and Nigeria also have their vulnerability. And what football fans were also forgetting was that the same Super Eagles of Nigeria, who were the highest rated team during the group stage of the recently ended Africa Cup of Nations, were the same team that were kicked out by Tunisia. Right. So then there was a certain level of vulnerability, and we didn't take our minds to it, but we're rather focusing on the relative low form of the Black Stars. Yeah. And the Black Stars went in there and proved everybody wrong.
That was a surprise, but many would say that Nigeria had the home support, if you even look at the atmosphere.
All right, I'll tell you something about support. Right. Support has a lot to do with it. Years ago, the Ghana FA, led by the then President Kwesi Nyantakyi and his executive team, took a decision to be taking qualification matches and very crucial games to Kumasi. Now, if you've lived in Kumasi before, you'd know that there is a certain level of appreciation for what people do generally.
Okay.
And that also extends to football. Mm-hmm. And so when you meet people in Kumasi, a set of 10 or 20 people, the level of appreciation for a team that is doing well will be 10 times or 10 poles ahead of somebody who you'd see in Accra, because people in Accra are relatively more conservative.
Definitely.
Now, that worked to a very high extent. And you'd want to roll back to history, to when we tried to qualify for the very first World Cup. The failures, the initial failures of then Captain Stephen Appiah, and then the success story that he recorded ahead of the 2006 World Cup. So it is very, very crucial. And the FA president said it. Right. Away from the intimidation that you got in the stands, there was intimidation in the background as well.
But there's controversially, a harsh word that he puts across. He says there was a hostile
environment. Atmosphere. Yes. Look,
you agree with him on that?
Well, you see, a lot of things happen in the background that we as journalists are not able to talk about. Not necessarily because we can't talk about them, but we do not want to focus on them. Right. Look, I'm sure that if the FA president, the players, the technical team, and everybody who was involved in the journalists have to talk about experiences that they get on such trips, you'd be amazed at some of the things you'd hear. But what I believe is that we all need to, as a people and as a continent and as a football collective, move away from some of these things. Because you see, you maltreat or mistreat your opponent. They get you in their backyard and they do the same thing, and the cycle repeats itself. Look at the scenes at the Abuja Stadium. This is a stadium which was refurbished by billionaire businessman Aliko Dangote. He inspected the pitch not too long ago, and look at what has happened. It is disrespect to the real ideals of football. It goes to cast dirt on the real motive of football and how it's supposed to bring people together. So an act like this by the fans in the Abuja Stadium go to bring the image of the sport into disrepute, and I'm sure it will be punished.
Right. Nat, let's focus on the positives.
Sure.
The Black Stars.
Sure.
And the president is making yet again another ambitious statement. He says, well, it's time to make a statement as the Black continent.
Why not?
Do we have the capacity?
Why not? Look, they always say that when you get yourself on platforms such as these, it is anybody's game. I'll tell you the reason why a player like Andre Ayew plays with so much confidence. It is because his father indoctrinated all of them. And he told me this way back years ago when he was 14 years old. My first interview with the Black Stars captain Andre Ayew was when he was 14 years old. And he said to me that his father told them that, guys, anytime you're playing on the pitch, irrespective of the platform, irrespective of the names you see, it is one leather ball, and we're all equal before that leather ball on that green pitch. Just go for it. So it's everybody's game. and you see, you see those words manifest in the way Andre Ayew plays his football. Now, it could be anybody's game. Once we step on the big stage of the FIFA World Cup, it could be anybody's game. Look, when Ghana qualified for the first World Cup, then led by Ratume Djukovic, the Serbian, one key area of contention was whether or not Laie Kingston would be included, because Laie Kingston had recorded a red card in the Africa Cup of Nations in Egypt, which preceded the tournament. What happened? Ghana qualified beyond the group stage. And the coach himself at the time did not believe that Ghana could go beyond the group stage because it was a doomed story. We said, okay, look, Ghana, this is our first time. We don't have names as big as the Italians or whoever it is. Let's come home. What did we do? We crumbled on the first night, and then in second and third games, we got our groove on. So there are the many technical arguments. But what Coach Otuado and the rest of his technical staff have been able to do over these few days is enough evidence that we can do it. Do remember that this is not the full complement of the Black Stars team. You have the Wakasos, the Baba Abdulrahmans, and who on a good day and on a very positive day can give brilliance on the pitch. So let's look forward to that. It is possible.
Let's see what then happens. I'm sure that the Joy Sports team will be doing much more analysis on this. But finally, your take on Otuado himself and his future. Initially, the indication we got was that this was just an interim arrangement. It appears that are we getting a confirmation? I mean, the speeches and statements
the words
being made at this time.
The words of the president are enough of a confirmation that this team will be one for the future. I do expect that they're given a long-term contract even now, because these are persons who admittedly have a lot of depth when it comes to appreciation of the game. They have gone through the mill. What we do not know about someone like Masoud Didi Dramani, for instance, is that he started managing national teams from the national deaf team from years ago.
How come we never heard of him?
Well, I covered him when he was a coach of the national deaf team. He came back, coached Kumasi Asante Kotoko, made his achievements with them, and now is with the Right to Dream Academy. Now he's been promoted to FC North Zealand, which is under the Right to Dream Academy umbrella, and he's doing amazing stuff. Coach, Masoud Didi Dramani is the transitional coach for the side, meaning that all the players who are scouted from West Africa and other parts of the continent are integrated into the first team by Coach Masoud Didi Dramani. And this is great growth. And over there, when you go to Right to Dream Academy and you look at their methods, the kinds of methods that they use, the kind of indoctrination that they give the players, it's amazing. Kudus is one of the products of the Right to Dream Academy, and it's right here in Ghana. And so we should start, like you said, we should start looking at the positive side of things. It can't always be doom. But let me also sound this. Let's remember that ahead of participation in our first World Cup in 2006 in Germany, we did not perform well at the Africa Cup of Nations. I'm not a soothsayer. I don't do numerology or anything, but that could just be another sign of positive omen for all of us. So for me, I think that the president's affirmation is enough. It's enough of an indication. So let's give them a permanent deal. Let's look after them well. Let's remember that for the likes of Chris Hughton and Otuado, they've been on very big salaries. For Otuado, for instance, you're looking at in excess of 800,000 euros a year.
So it will come at a cost.
Look, I am one of the people who believe that quality comes at a cost. But at the end of the day, what do you get? I mean, look, we're both wearing suits here. If you get a good suit and you take care of it the way you're supposed to take care of a good suit, it will last you a lifetime. And it's as simple as that. It applies to every other endeavor of life. Football is one of them. And the evidence is there for all of us to see. So let's make the investment. It is very important. And I believe that the FA president was very apt and very direct in wanting to make the advocacy. Because you see, these platforms also bring to us and give us the opportunity to advocate. Recently, the president sat through the President's Cup game organized by Galka. This was one of very few years that you had the sitting president sit in to watch the game. And one of the main aims of the Galka executive was to use that game between Hearts and Kotoko to make a case to the presidency to invest in football. Because when you go to Nigeria, for instance, the state is involved in investing in football. So every player has a certain minimum cap of salaries to receive. So they are comfortable. They don't have to go anywhere for so-called greener pastures. So there's a lot of a conversation to have on this. But like I said, it's a good affirmation by the president. He's given his seal. So the permanent deal definitely will be reached to have this team kept. And look, consistency always does something in achieving results in football.
I tell you what, this is one man who definitely has love for sports. Thank you, Nathaniel.
Thank you
for bringing us the latest. And don't forget that this is The Pulse. When we return, we'll also talk about the State of the Nation address. Stay with us. And you're welcome back to the polls. Now, on Friday, there will be a big climate change summit right here in Ghana. It is the Youth Climate Summit, and we'll learn more about this program right now. In studio with me is Andy Okra, who happens to be the president and founder for the Young Professionals and Youth Coalition, YPYC, and also Cedric Jello is the executive member, YPYC, and ambassador Global Youth Climate Change. Gentlemen, welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much.
And it's such a great time to see all of you. Let me save the best for last. So I'll start off with you, Cedric. Let's talk about this climate summit. So why the need to talk about climate change at this time?
Undoubtedly, climate change is disrupting life, and its impact is a topic for every discipline, the extent to which there is a global need to address the climate crisis. The Young Professional and Youth Coalition, an organization that has been spearheading the affairs of young people in terms of leadership and development for the past 10 years, has seen the need to galvanize and mobilize leaders, young people, in order to provide them the platform and the tool to come up with solutions to address the climate crisis. Hence, the need for this high-level summit that is bringing together the creme de la creme of Ghana's youth in school and in the professional area to come and profess solutions to the climate crisis.
Wonderful. Andy, for you, why Ghana, first of all? I think it's something we need to look at because there are so many countries out there that we could be having this conversation. Why Ghana?
Thank you very much, my brother, for the opportunity. And you've hit the nail right on the head. Ghana, because Andy and his team is in Ghana.
Right.
And I think we have to start from home. Even though we are doing it here, we still have the sub-region in perspective. We're going to have people joining and other young climate leaders from Togo. Others are also going to join from Kenya. We have South Africa, Nigeria, and others. But Ghana, because we, since almost over 10 years, YPY is grooming leaders and tackling developmental needs. We've not done anything about climate change.
Right.
And we have come to realize that our sustainability, our existence depends on the climate. And why don't we focus on equipping our young leaders with the skills and tools to go into climate change in order to profess the solution? And so we decided this year we need to start something at home, because after COP26 we realized that young people need to be integrated into the climate action. So we decided that Ghana will lead and host. Unfortunately, we're able to get partners to be able to come to that. So that's why Ghana. And after that, I mean, it's zooming to all other countries.
We're all excited about that. But what's more fascinating has got to do with the theme for the event. You're talking about collective rules in addressing the climate crisis. Is it the case that the youth are not involved as much in issues of climate change?
Precisely. And as you know, I indicated that the past 10 years we are raising leaders, grooming leaders to tackle the challenges. But then the world global issue now is climate change. And we've not been doing that much. Because we are doing well in leadership, we are grooming transformational leaders. But if you groom leaders and the climate is not conducive, where are the leaders going to stay? So we need to do that. And from the team, we realize that we have our individual roles that need to be. Yes, governments are doing what they're supposed to do. Their intergovernmental bodies are doing, development partners are doing all these things. But the youth are not, there's a disconnect between the youth. There are other NGOs who are doing well, trying to do their bit. But the youth, because, brother, we realize that the youth and the young leaders are the current architect of the future. And if we are able, we are looking for solutions, innovative solutions, then we need to get these young leaders into the climate change action. And that is the reason why we've chosen the team that it should be a collective individual rules, collective rules, but then our focus is on the young leaders.
Obviously, I belong to that category myself,
Precisely.
so that's why I'm excited about the issue. But Cedric is also here, obviously part of that youth bracket. So when many of us, and I mean our colleagues out there, hear about climate change, there's this perception that this has got to do with only science and issues of that experts must deal with. Why should the lay average person, the youth out there, get involved in addressing this crisis?
You are spot on. Myself, when I first heard about climate change, I heard about polar bear, I heard about melting glaciers and ice. And they were not discussions that related to me or connect with my immediate environment. But growing up and taking more deeper interest in the topic, I've come to realize that climate change affects almost everything around me. Drought threatens food security.
Right.
Flooding threatens people's homes and source of living and livelihoods.
So it's not something that's far away from us,
So
right?
one of the objectives of this particular summit is to be able to relay the issues to the young people who in turn relate it to their constituent. It is to bring the subject home for them to appreciate that, truly speaking, this is a topic that affects all discipline. That is why if you look at our list of those we have invited young leaders in science, in engineering, agriculture, in sports. We have invited journalists, of course.
Ghana Journalists Association. I should be
myself,
there.
I brought a letter here, and I should expect to see you.
Definitely.
You understand me?
Definitely.
So we have invited all crop of young people across the spectrum,
professionals,
with the idea that this is a topic that affects all disciplines. And for that matter, we need to confront our individual and collective roles. Your role as a journalist, my role as a sports administrator, and his or her roles in whatever capacity. So it is a summit that will be able to usher young people into the full spectrum of the subject and how they can make a contribution to the issue.
Right. Although the youth will be participating, Andy, and let me talk to you on that. We know that there are some experts in the field who need to shape and guide the conversation. Who are we expecting to join us as we have this summit?
We have a lot. I mean, the summit is in 3 parts. Right. We have the first part, which is the opening, and we have the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. Yes, when it comes to the resource, then we have the Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation also going to be there. And we have experts, the whole climate change in the US, looking after the fund, the Climate Investment Fund CEO, Mel Fielder, also present. We have an expert, a senior officer, World Bank, also there on the platform. Then we have the Chief Executive of Forestry Commission, Chief Executive of Cocoa Board. These are the senior level. Then we come to the experts. Then experts, you see young people, like we have Joshua, handling climate change. We have Gausu, handling, and there's a beautiful lady, Pat, also doing well in climate change. These are seasoned leaders. And of course, our global ambassador, Cedric, is also going to be there. When it goes to Forestry Commission, they are experts, young people, professionals there. These are all part of the... And British High Commission, the senior policy advisor on climate change, is part of the...
Very often when we're having conversations on climate change and all of this, the belief is that this is just a talk show. We're not contributing to national development. And let me start off with you, Andy. I'll come to you, Cedric, on that. How practical is this summit going to be in terms of contributing to national development?
In fact, that is the hallmark of YPYC. And if you even take my book I've written, Transformational Leadership, Walking the Talk. We are tired of the talk. We need to walk the talk. So this is, if you have attended any of our programs, I'm sure some of us here or people watching here have watched and participated. That is the only platform that you will see that is very interactive, very practical. So that is not going to be talk show at all. But then, of course, the talk should come. That is where you pick out the ideas. And the outcomes, you will see here, the outcomes here are going to shape policy direction. This is where we are going to use that because we're expecting innovative solutions from these young people, and then we'll put it in decision making. So it's not a talk. Even though you need a talk, it will come from the talk, but then very interactive, very productive, and it doesn't end after the summit. It's not a one-day thing. The summit is just to show off. After that, the procedures we take to ensure that they are integrated into the climate action is what we look like.
Cedric, if I'm a young person out there, what should be that motivating factor for me to step out on the day and then join you for the summit?
Your motivation should be that every generation is called upon to confront their own developmental challenge. There was a time that a generation was called upon to fight for our independence. There was a time a generation was called upon to ensure that we develop. Those were the days of industrial revolution.
Right.
And we have had generations that ushered us into the world of ICT, bridging the gap. Our generation today is confronted with the challenge of climate change. For that matter, every young person out there should be motivated that he or she is called upon to be the one to offer solutions, innovative solutions, to engineer the ideas that will be able to address the problem that confront our generation. It is having achieved this that you would be able to hit your chest and say that I have contributed to my time. That should be your motivation.
While we're talking about this, there are obviously ongoing national policies and programs that are targeted at the subject matter of climate change. Andy, for you, for instance, if you look at the Green Ghana initiative and the fact that we're planting more trees, are these measures enough, or there's a need for us to expand and to reach out to some more areas that we're not reaching at this moment?
Yes, I think we've started from somewhere, because there are various adaptation and mitigation strategies, and one of them is making sure that our depleted forests, we reforest them. So the Green Ghana initiative is really one of the solutions that we need, and we encourage everybody to plant a tree. As for that, now, apart from desisting from cutting down trees, we need to plant more, so that is good. But there are others that we can do to also add up to that. Look at our environment. Look at illegal mining. Look at the issues. How do we tackle that? The environment itself, how policing alone is really destroying our environment. This has a huge effect, and we need to do more. So after planting trees, what about that pollution? The rivers, look at how we are doing. Look at what happened. When rains come, what the effect here in Ghana, if you think it's not climate change, you have not seen it.
Particularly in the national capital.
In the national capital, and that's what we are talking about. So we have to do a lot in terms of providing other solutions to this. And these solutions are intertwined. You need to have innovative ideas to solve them. And that is what we are pushing. We believe that the young guys are the people we should focus attention on. This is the people from the tertiary universities, and that can reform their minds to come out with ideas. So a lot more can come out from that. Now we can see people who are using refuse to do bricks and stuff like that. That is a way taking a lot of garbage from the system.
And we will be getting that innovation much more from the youth.
And again, we're also trying to see the link of climate change and entrepreneurship in a way coming to address the unemployment issue.
That will be a very interesting aspect to explore, particularly when we know that the issue confronting this nation today, one of the challenges has got to do with unemployment and how many people now want to create their own jobs. How could this summit be of a great opportunity to someone who's out there and looking for that opportunity to explore?
Good. Before Cedric comes in, that's what you're saying. At the end, the third section, what's the last session, is the breakout session. That's where we're going to have two groups, one dealing with the policy direction, another dealing with the technical direction. And one of the subjects as a technical thing that we believe can solve the issue is entrepreneurship. And we have experts going to direct us and see, you will see other young people who have really innovated ideas that in a way has brought out enterprises that they are engaging themselves, engaging others. And that is what we want to focus on. So you can also come. Can we sit here and see somebody who can just come out and see that, okay, during drought time, we can do this. We are talking about irrigation. Somebody can think and say, drought time, how we can produce water to farm this. And that person produces that. And in effect, he's engaging himself, getting some enterprises, which will definitely recruit other people. And that discussion is going to
So there's actually going to be space for exhibition of these initiatives.
Precisely.
Private initiative. You're allowing that.
We are allowing that.
So
it's very interactive. We want to.
If someone has an initiative out there and wants to be part of it, is there an opportunity for them to reach out?
Reach out, because we're doing our best, and thanks to Joy FM, thanks to JoyNews for this opportunity to reach out to many people. This is free occasion. Conference center is free. All that you need to just register, call our number. The number is there. Or if you want to say it is 055-835-7200. You call these numbers and they will help you that you want to do this. It's open. We'll assist you to do that because we want to expose you to engage other people where you can bring out what is in you in terms of ideas and skills to be able to do.
But I'm sure that a lot of people missed the contact you're giving. So if you could just take your time, give us the contact, and many will be willing to take advantage of that.
055 835 7200.
Okay, once more.
055 835 7200. Or you can as well go to our social media handle, YPYC Ghana. Google YPYC Ghana. You can get all the information there. The link is there to get a number, the email, contact us, and you can be part of the summit.
I tell you what, you need to take advantage of that. Cedric, for you, I'm sure that you've been carrying out a number of private initiatives as well. And just before I come to you, what you see on your screens now is actually that summit, which will be happening on Friday, the 1st of April. So you need to be a part of it. It's from 9 to 4 p.m., 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So don't miss out. Quite a great number of people will be there, including the sector minister himself, who will be addressing the gathering. So we're talking all about that. Cedric is also here, one of the ambassadors. Tell us about some of the private initiatives, some of the things you've been doing as a group, just to push this agenda on ensuring that we deal with issues of climate change.
So we have sought for funding from a number of organizations to pioneer certain projects. For instance, at Adabraka, a community that is mostly affected by flooding. And your station has been very good at that. I mean, sort of showing how people are vulnerable and often displaced to flooding. So we have a project in Adabraka that is to carry out a mitigation approach to create some level of awareness of what people, household can do individually to ensure that the harm that comes to them as a result of flood is reduced. These are the basic stuff, getting to know about early warning signs, flooding, and how they can save part of their properties so that they don't face what we call stranded asset in terms of when there's flooding. Aside that, also, we have put up a robust plan to go to the schools.
I was about asking that.
Like the president said, this is the inception. And beyond this, we are ensuring that we are taking this same approach, this same template to nearly all schools in Ghana.
And sorry for catching through, but are you just targeting senior high schools or the basic school? How are you going about that approach? Right?
Yeah, so approach is one, we're targeting, first of all, leaders. After leaders, then we're approaching the schools, doing schools from secondary schools and then to tertiary. Then we'll do community engagement. So the community engagement will be in areas that are mostly affected by climate change. For instance, we saw news about how the community around the Keta, where wash away by the sea rise. And then the mining communities. We intend to engage the community, the folks there, to see how individually they can contribute to the mitigation approach. So mitigation simply espouse that how can we reduce the harm that is caused by climate change. Whilst government and big corporations think more about the adaptation stuff. Yes.
Wonderful. But we also need to shift focus a bit. Yes, we're talking about the youth, but Andy, you do agree with me that when it comes to the issue of climate change, some of the people who are even culpable do not necessarily find themselves in that youth bracket.
Yes.
So how are you scaling up education so that you're able to reach out to this sects of people?
Like you rightly said, in fact, our advocacy and education awareness creation is to everybody. To everybody, as you're doing, we expect to reach everybody with the news that let's focus on climate change effects and do something about it. But then we want to have a niche because YPYC deal with tertiary leaders. And our aim of grooming transformational leaders. And we believe that let's focus and get this critical mass of leaders, the SRC president, student leaders across board, get them integrated.
So you're influencing change through the school leadership.
Through school leadership. I was once SRC president. I know that if you want to do that,
you first
have to get them the right information. So we are doing that, and they will rather help us when we are going to communities. It's not just for the youth there, but we'll rather reach out to all the people in that community. So we will upskill the education, but this is our target. We want to get these student leaders, first get them to us, and we form that mass, then we'll push out. That's the plan.
Let's talk about the future of this intervention, the Youth Climate Summit. This is for 2022. Are we likely to see any more activities in the coming days or years, if I should put it that way?
You're right, early. So after this particular meeting, there will be working groups that will be set up to look at the various breakdown thematic areas under the broad theme on climate change.
Right.
We have adaptation, we have mitigation, we have green financing, and a whole lot. So basically, these young people will be spearheading this agenda, mobilizing funding and ensuring that this funding is directed towards addressing the solution. That notwithstanding, we also seek to make input into the global solution. We expect to be in Egypt later this year to participate in COP27, where we would also carry on the dreams and aspirations of Ghanaian youth to say, and from this summit to make input into that summit.
Don't forget, it's happening on the 1st of April. Briefly, because we don't have time, Andy, let me wrap up with you.
Yes. I was just saying that, yes, definitely we're going to have 2023 edition.
Okay, so it's happening next year as well.
It's happening next year because we can't just use one. But then our focus, as we said, probably next one you will see us in Ashanti region. We'll go to the tertiary institutions over there, gather all of them there, go beyond and stuff like that. Then we can now, or we don't know whether we can also have in one of the sub-regions that we will do. But we want to sustain that, not the talk show aspect of it, but at the end of it, or the practical aspect that will come out of these summit will be what to be replicated.
Right. Great initiative, Andy and Cedric. Thank you so much for joining us. I would say the next one should come to the Volta region. But anyway, thank you all for joining us. So that's it. It's about the Youth Climate Summit. It's happening on the 1st of April at 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Do well to be there at the Accra International Conference Center. But we need to cross over to Parliament. There's a lot happening there. The minority in Parliament is actually this afternoon filed a suit challenging the legality of the passage of the controversial electronic transaction levy bill into law. A one-sided House with majority MPs passed the e-levy bill yesterday at a revised rate of 1.5%, despite a walkout staged by the minority in an attempt to actually block its consideration. The law is now awaiting presidential assent, but the minority is at the apex court arguing that at the time the bill was passed, the House did not have what the Supreme Court terms a voting quorum of 138 MPs on the floor. We have details of the writ for you shortly. First, though, here's our parliamentary correspondent, Kwesi Parker-Wilson, with a recap of what happened.
After 3 months of struggle, town hall meetings, engaging stakeholders, fisticuffs in the chamber, a one-sided majority side has finally approved the e-levy. First, the finance minister was in the chamber to move a motion, but this, according to the minority leadership, was in one way or the other smuggling the levy into today's order paper because it was not captured in the business statement for this week.
Electronic Transfer Levy Bill 2021. Why? When you presented business statement, it was not part of the business which was approved for the House. We have time and again warned and cautioned that we never want to be taken by surprise on a major economic policy bill of government. We have always insisted, Mr. Speaker, you can go to the Hansard every other Friday. We have said that never take us by surprise, because, Mr. Speaker, Parliament cannot be when I conveniently have my numbers, then business can go on. It cannot be. And we will not accept that culture. Let them be sure that we are ready for them. We will debate you and we will vote against it. We won't support it. We are ready for you.
In spite of the accusation, the Speaker paved way for the motion to be moved.
I beg to move that the electronic transfer levy bill be now read a second time.
Now, whilst the majority leader was expected to conclude the debate, the minority actually staged a walkout.
I'll disappoint you because I'm concluding, Mr. Speaker. I know that you are time bound. So what do you do? So, Mr. Speaker, this side, we don't support e-levy. We will not support e-levy. Count us out of it. they can proceed with whatever business they want to do. I thank you. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Please wait me. Mr. Speaker, put the question. The words of the mind. Put the question. Put the question. Put the question. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, put the question. My colleagues are in the chamber. Mr. Speaker, my colleagues are in the chamber. I invite you to put the question now. Put the question now. They're in the chamber. And so I proceed to put the question. Those in favor of the adoption of the report of the committee in support of the second reading of the Electronic Transaction Levy Bill 2021, say aye. Those against, say no. Honorable members, the ayes have it.
The Speaker of the House, apart from the fact that the minority has staged a walkout, indicated to the House that indeed they still have the required numbers to proceed with the consideration of the motion.
When you keep on giving surprises to the Speaker will also be giving you surprises. But these surprises to the Speaker sometimes are overwhelming. And so we need to continue to make sure that we process the bill. I have no problem with us going on with the consideration because the House is properly constituted. You know, walkout doesn't stop the House from proceeding with its business. And so my pleasure is for us to continue. And we'll move to the consideration stage of the bill.
The majority side were excited over the approval of the levy, insisting that this levy would definitely go a long way to help cushion the Ghanaian economy.
If we have to do revenue mobilization inside the country, what it means is that we will curtail the rate of borrowing and thereby curtail the increasing debt stock. Who in Ghana, which MP would say that he doesn't like this? So colleagues, I believe we are adding them on these matters. Now, what Parliament ought to be looking at is reportage. How much is coming? How are we applying those revenues? And I think that Parliament's oversight responsibility should come into play.
But the minority held a press conference and alleged that what was done in the chamber is illegal.
And voting with at least half of all the members of Parliament present. During second reading, you did not have half of members of Parliament present. During the consideration stage, you did not have half of members of Parliament present, per the Supreme Court ruling. And during the third reading, you did not have, half of the members of Parliament, more than half of the members of Parliament present and voting. Therefore, those of you who are celebrating with them that e-levy have been passed and accordingly passed, your excitement will be short-lived. Immediately after this press briefing, we intend to file to question the legitimacy of the decision of less than one-half of members of Parliament taking a decision to approve e-levy at second reading following our walkout, and at third reading, which is required, that a bill be subjected to third reading. The supposed e-levy bill was subjected to a third reading with less than one half of the members of parliament present and voting. A charade as I have described it. So we are very convinced that there is no e-levy and is working on nothing, because we are keeping the videos and the recordings as we left. And you don't expect to build something on nothing and expect to.
In the meantime, though, many mobile money users have already started devising new means of sending money to avoid paying the e-levy. This is not good news for the mobile money vendors, who are now dreading the potential impact of this tax measure on their businesses. Fortunately, Kofi Ajay, who's with our research desk, has joined me to give us a breakdown of the figures. So Isaac, welcome. Let's do this quickly. Clearly the indication is here, a sign that many people, just about 3 months ago after the initial announcement, are beginning to find other means of using, of sending money. Break down the figures for us so we can understand this.
Right from 2018 December,
right,
and you realize that the number of active mobile money users as of December 2018 was at 18.1 million, users, and then you could see an upward trajectory to 2020 December, 17.1 million, an increase to 17.9 in at 2021 December, and now as of December, it means that the budget had been read 2021, and then just see. 2022 January, a decline from 17.9 million active users to 17.4 million active users. So the first time we've seen a decline when you talk about
so in a space of 2 or 3 months. Exactly. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So
the next is that the trend is that we're going down.
So we'll break this down. The next slide will actually explain.
Give us further.
Yeah. So now here, let's talk about the value of the transaction. So the value of the transaction has also seen a dip. So you could see that as of 2018 December, the value of transaction was at 22.6 billion cedis as of December 2018. And then you could see the upward trajectory to 82.9 billion.
So this was the highest point.
Exactly.
By far the highest point.
Sure, in 2021.
December 2021. And partly, the finance minister has been telling us that online activities during the lockdown had surged.
Exactly.
Right. So this may be
one of the reasons,
the factors for the accumulating growth.
Exactly, consistent rise. So December, 2021, and then
a sharp
decline.
Right.
Yeah, to 76.2 billion cedis in 2022.
So, Kofi, going by these figures, are we projecting that the curve may come down?
Well, there's another interesting curve. Let's look at this. This one actually tracks. So this one gives you the opportunity to, do month on month. So we are doing this from 2021 January to 2022 January, and you could see the cyclical movement.
Wonderful.
So just November 2021, when the budget was read, you could see a consistent decline from 18 million active users to 17.9 million, then to 17.4 million active users. The same thing happened to the value of transaction as well.
And just help us understand that when you say the value of transactions, that's got to do with the amount?
Exactly, the amount. So we have total number of transactions we have in the year. It was also on a decline. Then we have the value of the transaction, how much mobile money transactions we make in a year. Right. So we've been doing this month on month. So you could see the cyclical movement. It started dropping as of 2021 July. It dropped to 71.7 billion cedis. Yeah. And as of 2021 September, then we saw it rising from September 2021 from 71.7 billion cedis to 86.1 billion cedis in 2021 November. You get it? 2021 November, and then right after the announcements, the budget was read in November. Persistent, consistent decline from 86.1 billion to 76.2 billion.
So what this means is that there's a clear projection that it may dip further.
Well, let's see.
Or we are not certain.
Yeah, we are not certain.
Because
it could be other factors, but we are seeing
we able
a decline.
to point out that part of the reason why we're seeing a decline in the figures is due to the announcement? Because the fall partly started way from December.
Yeah, but there were other months that e-levy was not at stake, but we still saw a decline figures, right? Exactly. So we are just hoping that this is not the best time for the value of transaction to be declining. Exactly, because e-levy has been passed, and then if you want to see a decline, it shouldn't be at this point. So it could be one of the reasons. But let's look at elsewhere in Africa. What has been the story? So we've been looking at
an important story to be on the lookout.
So we've been looking at elsewhere in Africa when it comes to electronic transaction levy. So we looked at Uganda, Congo, Cote d'Ivoire, Malawi, Benin, and then Cameroon. So Uganda announced an original rate of 1%. Let's look at the effects. So after the announcement, there was a public outcry, and then it was reduced from 1% to 0.5%. What did they do to their mobile money, transaction in the year? So there was a 50% drop in peer-to-peer transactions.
Right. So if we talk about the person-to-person, that's a direct transfer, for instance, I'll do from myself to you.
Exactly.
If there's any transaction.
It dropped by 50%.
Right.
And then there was also a 24% drop in industry. The industry itself had a dip of 24% in terms of growth and other things. But we also tracked Congo. Congo had an original rate of 1%. Then it was replaced with only cash out.
Okay.
It was replaced with only cash out. And then Cote d'Ivoire also introduced an original rate of 0.5. And then it was applicable to only withdrawn after public. It was withdrawn after public outcry. So it means that it didn't continue. Then Malawi introduced at 1%. It was also withdrawn. Right. And then Benin, 5%. That was very high. What happened? It was implemented under widespread public, opposition.
So, Kofi, what you mean to tell us now is that at least we have examples of some countries that have gone back, made a U-turn on similar case of the e-levy as it is.
Exactly. So a perfect example is the Ugandan case where it was introduced at 1%.
But is the situation the same in these countries? Are we able to tell if the coverage and the numbers are the same as compared to what's happening in Ghana?
We saw the trend. Let's just hope that it doesn't continue declining.
Right.
We just pray that it should because government
that will be good.
Government is expecting almost 7 billion.
Yeah, out of this transaction.
Exactly. It was projected at a rate of 1.75. I mean, the government has reduced it from 1.75 to 1.5%.
Right.
Meaning that clearly we are not going to realize that one.
So the target. So that's even another implication. That the target of the 7 billion may not realize that.
Exactly, because we've reduced the rates. From 1.75 to 1.5 at the moment.
Well, Isaac Kofi giving us the latest on the figures. Don't forget that we'll give you some updates as and when we have that. But the project was ambitious and has encountered multiple challenges as a result. That's President Akufo-Addo's admission as he vows to get the Agenda 111 hospitals and its program completed before he leaves office. He's been delivering his State of the Nation address today, in which he says as many as 87 of the proposed 111 hospitals are already under construction in parts of the country. Delivering the State of the Nation address in Parliament a while ago, he promised to commission all 111 projects before he leaves office in January 2025.
This pandemic exposed other shortcomings of our country, which have undoubtedly contributed to the anxieties that have befallen the nation. Agenda 111 was born out of this necessity to address some of these shortcomings. At the normal rate of growth, we're not likely to make up the deficit in our health facilities infrastructure for a very long time. Hence the need for a special dedicated program of infrastructural development. We are undertaking the construction of 101 entities, which comprise standard 100-bed district hospitals for 101 districts without hospitals, with accommodation for doctors and nurses. 6 new regional hospitals for each of the 6 new regions. The rehabilitation of the Afia Nkwanta Hospital in the Western region. 1 new regional hospital for the Western region. And 3 psychiatric hospitals for each of the 3 zones of the country, that is North, Middle, and Coastal. It is an ambitious project which must and will be done, and which will create some 33,900 jobs for construction workers, and on completion, some 34,300 jobs for health workers. Mr. Speaker, I have to report that like all major construction projects, it is evident that the initial schedule we gave for the completion of Agenda 111 was overly ambitious. Identifying suitable sites around the country, for example, has turned out to be even more problematic than had been anticipated. I am now able to say that a great deal of the preparatory work has now been completed, and work has started at 87 of the 111 sites. I've been assured that preliminary work on the remaining 24 sites is ongoing. We have every intention of seeing this project through to a successful end, which will enable me to commission all 111 hospitals before I leave office on 7th January 2025. Mr. Speaker, we have saved lives and fared much better than we had feared and the experts predicted. But the consequences of lockdowns, border and business closures, and unplanned expenditures have combined to have a devastating impact on our economy.
Well, the president says his government has registered the greatest infrastructure achievement in the nation in the last 5 years of his government.
Mr. Speaker, it is in the road sector that we have registered the greatest infrastructure achievement. I know that the word unprecedented is often used with careless abandon in our public discourse, but I use it carefully and purposefully. In the 5 years of my government, so far, more roads have been built, improved, and upgraded than at any equivalent period under any government in the history of Ghana. Some 10,885 kilometers of new roads have been constructed in these 5 years. Let me mention, Mr. Speaker, that yesterday it was my honor and great pleasure to have commissioned the Tamale interchange. The first such interchange in the northern sector of our country, which the people of Tamale gladly celebrated. I considered it to be a most satisfying birthday present. We intend to continue with the building of roads around the country to accelerate the opening up of our country.
So the minority has been reacting to the claims of the president. We bring you some of those reactions.
The coronavirus and its impact, and continue to add that we are where we are because not only of the coronavirus, but because of Russia and Ukraine war. This president failed to basically take responsibility for his incompetent management of this economy, the fact that he has failed to deal with critical challenges, the very unprecedented tripling of ministers in different positions, and the fact that he has borrowed beyond comprehension. The fact that he has taken 5 years to borrow over 300 billion, the deficits that are very unprecedented. He failed to take responsibility of his own failure in every aspect of his government. The fact that he has not taken leadership. We have had impact on coronavirus, yes. But the fact that the president failed to take responsibility for his own failed leadership is a disappointment. I mean, look at all the things he talked about as successes for him. What does Nissan and Toyota coming to Ghana and assembling plants do for you as a president who has been elected to transform people's lives? When, as we speak today, people can't even make ends meet. And all you are doing is tripling down and fail to even talk about the e-levy and its impact that is going to have on our finances. So basically, an empty state of the nation that gave us no hope. This state of the nation did not inspire us, gave us no hope. If you are struggling Ghanaian, you leave this state of the nation speak more depressed than you were before his.
Now, a former chief executive for the Volta River Authority, Kweku Awotri, has underscored the importance of science, technology, engineering and mathematics, as well as STEM, which can play a lot of roles in reducing Ghana's underdevelopment rate. Now, he's thus calling for some collaborative efforts between academia and industry to roll out the effective STEM projects to help train more of Ghana's workforce. JoyNews' Samuel Brace has more in the following report.
Ghana's unemployment rate has been on the ascendancy for quite a long time now. The country has been grappling with this with little success. One important factor resulting in the increased rate of unemployment is the lack of collaboration between academia and industry in fashioning out tailor-made training for students. Many proposals have been made towards reversing the trend. In his proposal, Kweku Awotri, one of Ghana's leading human assets in the energy sector, believes industry must find a way of reaching out to academia to help in the training of human resource for the job market with a focus on STEM, as it holds an important key in producing tailor-made labor pool for industry. He was speaking exclusively to JoyNews at the sidelines of the launch of the Worcester Polytechnic Institute Applied STEM project here in Accra.
Important thing, an important ingredient is collaboration, and it's also just the posture of academia in particular to reach out to industry to collaborate with them, and vice versa. Not a lot of institutions do that. I think in this particular case we're here with an institution, an academic-based initiative. WPI has reached out. They say it's applied STEM, and they say it's project-based and purpose-driven, and they need partners to get it done. So if you don't have that collaboration, it won't happen. Equally, and I think a lot of companies recognize this, companies need to understand that their workforce needs to be well-trained, well-skilled. In the case of STEM, if you're in the oil and gas industry, if you're in the electricity or power industry, you need engineers, you need highly trained technicians. And so it's in industry's interest to reach out to academia to help with scholarships, internships, training. And it's going on, and we need to do more of it. And I would say that collaboration has to really increase to make it fruitful.
The distinguished statesman in residence at Worcester Polytechnic Institute and Ghana's former ambassador to the US, Dr. Bafo Ejebewa, also added that industries and businesses in Ghana must make it a point to support in the implementation of STEM projects to help train Ghana's next generation of leaders.
Business and industry in this country can shoulder a large proportion of this, especially on the applied side. And the thing is, if the government were to do it alone, in the final analysis, who gets the benefit by way of employing people who have skills, who have been trained and all that? So the government should also learn how to access business and industry for them to be able to do some of these things.
So when will this needed collaboration between academia and industry become that effective to produce human resource needed by the market? Only time will tell. For Joy News, I am Samuel Kojo Brace.
And that's all we have for you in this package of the polls. My name is Blehes Ogan. Don't forget to log on to myjoyonline.com. We have updates on all of our stories for you there. And definitely we'll see you next time here on the Joy News channel.